Hi, Jackie. Can you hear me? which is over $10. we have the luxury of getting a raise if and that's generally the cost. I hear the same lament from farmers. I think I hear it from well that, yeah, you can, the people at the bottom of the list can't adjust their income. They can't prices anywhere to compensate for that, which is a little bit stressful for a lot of people. It has been mentioned that 90 cents is just part of the increase. We're going to go up. We're going to see it in January. And for me, I always hate to see those jumps in January because that's a very slow time in my business. And so I don't have the income coming at the time. So it's like, that's in January. But yeah, that's when things change. So are there further comments or questions for either Denison or these gentlemen? Yes, you may.
One of the things that I like about this markets I've been in, as you guys actually helps not just have an extra. Definitely a nice program. It changes. Is our we've already made the adjustment to what splits up the or and to make it more useful in the time they're thinking you about 1.5 trucks more a week to the things that we really back on all these extra after the and then the COVID stuff. Now it's run. Drivers will be trained to identify. Cars just be put somewhere that legal revenue. These streets where all the toters there containers on the side of the road and all that stuff. That's what I wanted to bring to this. That'd be less than a
the additional can, I think, is less than 3 extra garbage bags, and we have customers, so an additional can per month is, I think, 10 something, and the 3 garbage charges are 10 something as well, a bit higher. And we have people that have 4, 5, 6 sometimes in a week, and so there will be some customers that are actually going to save money in this deal. I know yet.
If I may make a comment, Fairview and Yakima County and myself are in preliminary talks to try to bring a transfer station to Sunnyside. We have very, very preliminary, but we are working on trying to and how we can partner together with these 3 entities to bring a transfer station to County residents, Grandview residents, and Sunnyside residents have that in our backyard and in the Lower Valley. It's in the works. It's very infant, but it is there. So,
all right. Last call for comments or questions. Denison, thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. Having heard all of this, what is the desire of council on this item? To adopt. You're not required to second it. There's no second, the motion dies. So motion by Councilor Beal or second by Councilor Ripley to adopt an ordinance updating SMC 8.04 and authorize the city manager to enter into the renewed contract with Yakima Waste. Debate on this item. All the hard work. All right, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Ridley,
Yes.
Mayor Barger,
Yes.
Counselor Beasley,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
Six yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. As Mr. Hicks said, Dennis, for your hard work on that. Item C, NPP-GOV intergovernmental agreement renewal. Consider authorizing the city manager to execute a new IGA with NPP-GOV for the procurement of goods and services. Madam City Manager.
I will thankfully pass this over to Fire Chief Anderson because I can't say those letters over and over and I don't.
All right, thank you, Madam City Manager and council members. I brought this, I mentioned this at the last meeting. We recently received a FEMA grant to, due to the amount of money, the procurement rules, there are certain ways that we will purchase that item. We currently, since 2018, the department has used one brand of turnout gear. And so I got online to see what the pricing in 2020, the new RFP put out, and for NPP, Cascade equipment was selected out of Medcore. City then, so then I looked at NPP, the city actually, prior to this RFP. So in order to, although I don't think that's, in order to make sure that we sort of check that box and comply with the FEMA grant, I'm going to bring it forward to what the update.
Members, comments or questions?
So is this just a matter of housekeeping to make sure signatures are correct?
It's just refreshing. We already have an active agreement now. I just don't know if under the federal grant system, in order to make sure that we are in compliance. It seemed like it was any.
Other questions? So Chief Anderson, are you saying then that the turnout gear is either in our possession or it's on its way? We've already agreed to that?
No, I can't order it, so I didn't want to order it. So basically, we entered into, city entered into an agreement prior to this RFP. So I wanted the IGA subsequent to the RFP.
I said regarding having tried on and had to demonstrate that I'm all in favor of it. All right, further comments or questions from council? What is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve. I'll second.
A motion by Councilor Hicks, second by Councilor Hart, to authorize the city manager to execute a new IGA with NPP-GOV for the procurement of goods and services. Debate on this item.
So immediately get the, as soon as we have a signature, immediately order the outfits. But, excuse me.
That would be called outreach.
I realized, as soon as the word came out of my mouth, I thought equipment, say equipment.
All right, Madam City Clerk, you do the roll for the vote, please.
Counselor Ridley,
Yes.
Mayor Barger,
Yes.
Counselor Beasley,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hart.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Indeed, hazmat emergency response kit. Quote, consider authorizing the city manager to accept the lowest quote and authorize the purchase of one ERK hazmat resource. Madam City Manager.
And I'll turn this over to Fire Chief Anderson.
So this is part of another grant that you received. in that, the list of items that I put. Okay, for basically trucks. We looked at, going on our MRC vendor roster, there was two, that was Medium Springs, which is, the other one was Hazmat Resource. I received quotes from both of those. Nevertheless, and I don't know if we're gonna purchase.
Also, there's questions or comments?
No, this is actually just a ERKK, this is really, so for your $9,250. It's basically a bunch of caps and stuff that.
Is keeping valves leaking at the site of a hazmat situation?
No, it's, so think of, say a tractor trailer rolls over, and you have all the valves on top of the. These kits go on top and basically hold it. Up and keep everything.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
My experience, it doesn't take a very big leak or a very long time to get huge.
And we've seen several demonstrations of that, unfortunately,
Yes, we have.
in the past few years, so.
Further comments or questions?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
I am so glad that we did it all. We all have to stack up for this big. But we do need it for our safety, for our firefighter safety.
All right, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Ripley, second by Councilor Hicks, to authorize the city manager to accept the lowest quote and authorize the purchase of one ERK from Hazmat Resource. Debate on this item. Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Councilor Stewart,
Yes.
Councilor Hicks,
Yes.
Councilor Farmer,
Yes.
Councilor Hart,
Yes.
Mayor District, yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item E, Title IX and 9A Criminal Code. Consider adopting an ordinance amending the Sunnyside Municipal Code, Chapter 9 and 9A by reference of the revised Code of Washington and various other sections of Chapter 9 that are specific to the city. City manager.
Mayor, I'm going to turn to Riley to do a more cleanup of our language, and mostly just how.
Majority of changes you will see. Doesn't even occurring. What you were that. Here yet. There's also other things that weren't developed. Firearms, other administrative things. How you can reference it. Before you, too many of the details, but the state law is the floor and up through that was for what's these crimes. Other penalties. Any specific questions? Members, questions, comments?
Is there like a finite number of these, or is it just kind of, this hasn't been changed since the 2000?
There was, I mean, I can't give you a specific number. A few that haven't been. It didn't leave the city in a vulnerable position necessarily, but it's good to have them paper. So there's quite a few that just need to.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? So I'm correct in understanding that the state law, the RCW, is the minimum that we have to attain, and we are allowed to be stricter. We can go beyond what the state law says, but we can't be less than the state law. And so this allows us to have that all in place so that we're able to do that should we need to. All right, if there's no more questions or comments, what is the desire of council on this item?
Adopt. Second it.
All right, motion by Councilor Beeler, second by Councilor Ripley to adopt an ordinance amending Sunnyside Municipal Code, Chapter 9 and 9A, by reference of the revised codes of Washington and various other sections of Chapter 9 that are specific to the city. Date on this item? Madam Clerk.
Councilor Ripley?
Yes.
Mayor Gordon?
Yes.
Councilor Beeler?
Yes.
Councilor Hicks?
Yes.
Councilor Farmer?
Yes.
Councilor Hart?
Yes.
Mayor Hicks, yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Item 5, excuse me, mayor's appointments for boards and commissions. I have a couple pending, and we've got a couple of things to work through yet, but I'm hoping for the next council meeting we will be able to get those individuals appointed. Who are excited about serving the Sunnyside, and I'd really like to strike all the irons hot, take advantage of these individuals' enthusiasm. And as you all know, we've had years where certain commissions have sat empty, certain seats have been empty, so we're trying to get that fixed. So hopefully in the next meeting, be able to those bills. Item B, council request status report. That's the manager.
So this is still an ongoing list that we continue to work on. Pardon, I will ask you to report out on the work that the Community and Economic Development Commission started with the Roger Brooks program.
So we just had our Community and Economic Development Commission meeting. And we're going through the report page and discussing, we're breaking the report up into 3 different sections. One of the sections is policy, one of the sections is design standards, and another one. So the idea is which parts of the report can be implemented through policy as you move forward in updating our different codes, and then what parts of this really are more geared towards like design standards. Commercial, we want to target down. What are the ideas of these different? So we made our way through the report. We're about halfway on 27th. We are meeting officer and design firm on Portland. That is actually and very familiar with this area. He helped design. He helped design. So he's been on this side of the state quite a bit. Idea. So we're going to be walking around the desk. As we
It's kind of exciting because, you know what, some of the discussion that happened with the Roger Brooks study was the fact that we have so many studies on shelves collecting dust. And the concern was that we do nothing with this after spending thousands of dollars on these studies. So I am glad to see that that is not being allowed to gather dust, but rather you're trying to do something with it. There was a fair amount of community enthusiasm when that first came out. And so obviously COVID got in the way of that, put a stop to that for a little while. And regenerating that enthusiasm, I suppose, is a challenge. But to be bringing that out, looking at some of those ideas, we will useful, so thank you.
The water tower project, pretty much have, and so we had talked about trying to have council make a next decision. What my recommendation would be is that as part of this budget process, we find it in the budget to complete, at least putting some money aside, but for hiring a qualified contractor to actually. So as part of our budget discussions, Jameis and I will sit down and look through and see where we can commit the budget, and it may be that we only commit $20,000 a year until we get enough money. But I think we need to at least not kick the can down. And noise ordinance and code enforcement. Currently, our code enforcement has been swamped with many projects, and I will let Trevor elaborate on the project code enforcement.
So since our adoption of the rules, it feels like we're gaining some traction with it. It feels like we're and that tool chest that we're running into right now are our chronic. Probably know approximately where they are in the city. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of an uphill battle, but I think we'll, that's kind of what we're running into right now, but everything else I think is done. Noise ordinance, probably need to discuss that.
Okay, thank you.
And fireworks ordinance, Mr. Anderson, or Chief Anderson, also expressed the desire to have that at the next public. So we can get those council members on board with the direction that they feel we should go, whether we are more lenient or more strict. I don't know how we can be more strict than what we are now, but enforcing it is problematic. So that will be our direction to the next public safety.
I had a bit of a nightmare about fireworks the other night, thinking about, if I might speak on that for just a second. It is infuriating to replace the ban after one of our firemen fell through a roof and got himself injured pretty good because it was a fire that was started by fireworks up on Harrison Hill. So we banned fireworks throughout the county, banned fireworks in almost all the little cities around us. And here we are, 20 years later, more or less, saying, what the heck, go ahead, burn yourself down. I wake up cringing thinking about that. That's off topic, I know.
I hear you don't miss heart because I was living on the hill when that happened. I remember the incident. Discussion.
Infuriating. But I know we gotta do it.
But we also know that what we're doing right now isn't working
Isn't
for a
working
number of
either.
different reasons.
Yeah.
So it needs to be brought up and discussed.
Understood.
If any council member has any other item that needs to be added to the council request list, you may now, or you may talk to the manager. All right, moving on. Other reports, announcements, and/or questions by council. Council members.
I've got a lot of complaints. One from my mother-in-law and just other tenants of Manor 1 and Manor 2 of alleged
drug use and vagrants cutting through. I don't know if there's anything taking holes down that area, or you get the property owners to put up a new fence or something, but.
The general street that goes.
There you go. Anyway, go for it. Just off the front.
South Fork and the railroad track.
Yeah. It's a retirement community, supposedly, but there's a lot of teenage kids there using drugs and.
That's just, isn't that senior housing?
Yes. But they rent it, and then
Grandma drags in.
grandma drags in 3 or 4
Junior.
that have been there forever. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. It's alleged.
No, Mr. Mueller.
Yeah, I went down and re-grand opening of Harbor Freight. It's a beautiful. I'm gonna be there a lot, but it was really nice, and thank you guys.
Yeah, I got to that a little late. I suddenly realized at 10 o'clock what was happening at 10 o'clock, so I had to change into something more appropriate rather than what I was using to do yard work. And that guys had all left, and all the ribbons had been cut, and all the fanfare had been done, but I wouldn't introduce myself to the manager anymore. Anything else?
Oh, I do have something. I want to thank the Public Works folks for the rearranging of the Carroll Stone bench out at the handrail park over here by the Donnie Dunbar statue in that general facility, close to where our electric recharging stations are. It looks beautiful. If you get a chance to go down there and take a look at it, it's got her name on it and who she was. And I believe the Lions are going to be putting together a dedication ceremony, inviting the mayor and city manager and someone from the Public Works to be there for the work that went into that. And I know that the Lions are eagerly waiting to see their bill, so somebody must be in charge of that, so we can write that off on our list and work on our next project. But I did want to say it looks beautiful there. It's what the family wanted. It's what the Lions wanted, and I'm sure the community is really going to enjoy this. It's sturdy material.
No. I've got 2 items. Number one is I am extremely grateful to the streets department for getting the paving done up there on Stackhouse, and paving all of those cuts through that have seemed like they were never going to get done. And that is nice. Those of us who choose to do that on a motorcycle, but it's even nicer when you go in a car. I'm sure the neighbors are very grateful to finally have that dusty summer for them. And so thank you for getting that done. And then also yesterday, maybe some of you had the opportunity, but I went to go see a play by the Over the Hill Gang and thoroughly enjoyed myself. The matinee performances, so they're held at 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday of this coming weekend. They were this Saturday and Sunday as well. You know, it's just great community production. It's well done. The singers sing and they act and they do their thing, and they're people we know. And it's just fun. It's like adult high school theater. They had a good time. We had a good time. And so I recommend it. It's free of charge, so it's not going to break the family budget. And they're just, a collection of really fun people. So I recommend that. I enjoyed that.
Do you have some information on why they called? You do? Okay.
Right. Upcoming council meeting, Madam City Manager.
On October 24th, at our regular meeting, we'll have a presentation on the energy savings. Presentation, the city manager will present the budget. We'll do your property tax ordinance adoption or revocation, 2022 Q3 budget amendment, and then 1 energy lease surplus property. That one is ready, but we still have some questions on it, so it's possible that November 7th workshop, discussion placeholder. This is if Amoresco does not finish in minutes I've allotted them during the regular keeping, just to be clear. Yeah, and so we may have to have that go to November. We will have the new job description, and the preliminary budget workshop continues, so our second part of it. Then we will have a public hearing on the preliminary budget on November 14th.
Everyone busy, I still continue to say thank you for all the work that you guys are doing on that. I know it's a tremendous work. Most of it behind the scenes, and so we don't see an awful lot of what you're doing. But you have to do that, it would just, my head would have exploded. Items from department heads, Madam City Manager.
Let's start with Chief Escalera, who is on the phone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I tried to call 3 times and it wouldn't let me on the phone system, so I'm on the I'm on the Zoom here. We had obviously a long week of the homecoming festivities throughout the week. It all went well. The game went well. Very few issues. We continuously work in trying to suppress some of the crimes that are going on. And I think they're doing some great work out here right now. And we are working on trying to reduce our overtime. And so we're doing some schedule modifications in order to assist in that and help reduce the fatigue load that we currently have going on. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on in the I guess the current moment. But we also have trunk or treat coming up, and that's going to be coming up on the 26th, and then there'll be some other events after that. So it should be a pretty busy month at the end there. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Evening. I guess a couple things. This is we're a little bit busy this time of year, but it's the 100th anniversary for fire. Sunday goes through the rest of the week. This year's theme is Fire Won't Wait. The need for families to develop new construction, you know, they're hardwiring, but make sure the community knows that we still have a limited number. We do replace batteries. More of the glass come down. Also, it's October is Sudden Cardiac Arrest Awareness, 420,000 Americans, surprising 10,200 children suffer sudden cardiac arrest. And then apparently, I guess one person passes away about every 90 seconds. So we are, unfortunately, because of COVID, we kind of slowed down on our CPR. Our hopes are, that was one of the reasons why I was hoping to get people. Also, I guess the council had approved the pipes underneath the conduit underneath the ramp. The trees came out a little sooner than I expected. And I appreciate that. And then I think at the same time, instead of having Brandon out next year, the contractor while he was there to make them out, made some reach out to them. So I've been contacted by the authority who wants to do some dry state landscaping in the parking lot. So they've asked me to actually go ahead and continue the trench all the way up the corner. Oh, and then at the same time, they also said that if we take out that grass in the front, possible load of grass. I was saying to bring out a load of gravel versus.
Carry on.
So, Administrative Services Director.
I just wanted to remind council and everyone else, there is a fall festival at the community center rally on October 28th from 4 to 7 p.m. And there's going to be lots of games for kids, pumpkin carving, all kinds of things to do. And it'll be very. She's also started getting ready for the Thanksgiving dinner in November, the $1 meal. So I do have budget books for you guys. They encompass everything that we've covered up to this. They are missing the real meat because I'm still updating it after our past budget workshop last week. So you're welcome to take them with you, and I can bring that stuff to you next week, or I can keep them for you and bring them back to you next week. So I'll whether you want to take it now or bring it back next week.
I got a couple items. So we had a pre-construction meeting this morning. Project. Hopefully here in the next week or two, we'll get started on that. We're kind of looking for some materials. Pushing us out a little bit. This Friday at 10 o'clock at the fire station, we have a bid project. We're finally coming to you a couple weeks after that with comments.
Learned something this week that Martin has a sign outside his office that says CED director. So that's the way I'm going to address it.
Put it up a little bit, yeah. I don't have too much for you. I kind of explained the code stuff. But I will be have a few more zonings I will be bringing to you. You will see those. We're going to make some minor changes to the M1. Allow for some of the all that well, so we do some minor modification stuff to residential structures in commercial zoning districts, and then units. At this time, unless we. Good.
So I will report out that like we have gained so much momentum as a city, and that the staff are finally tackling those things that we've been saying we're going to do, and we've kicked the can down the road for many years. Big things, little things, and I think as a city we're seeing progress. So I just want to let you know, I stopped by and talked to a couple of the business owners around the townhouse. I'm not going to name them, but I'm going to tell you that they have seen a difference in the traffic and the movement of people in the two hotels. It has made them feel more safe at their business. So I know we have said, you know, we need to make changes. As of yet, we haven't had any plans submitted from the townhouse. Anything that they've brought to us in writing, a meeting since they have filed an injunction and will be going to. But I just wanted you to know that there are steps that we need to take to make changes in our city that may not feel good and may not make us like we're helping business. We're taking one business that was harming other businesses and asking them to set up the standard. And I think that even though it's really painful to watch the Kim see it here in with the council, made a decision that will not only impact running businesses. Imagine all of the people now that have to find something either productive or useful to, besides dealing drugs out of that motel or doing prostitution. And I want to commend you on that. It wasn't easy. I know that. So I just want you to know I have gotten that feedback. And we will continue to do things that will help this city grow and help the city move in the right direction. I had someone that actually asked me, can you take care of the stop sign because the tree is inhibiting it so bad? This was on Friday. Code enforcement has actually, and the streets department, already worked on that today and trying to figure out what our solutions are. So if things don't seem like they're going fast, not because we don't want them to, but it's because we have an abundance of things on our plate, that sometimes you do need to try to take action. When a property owner refuses to let you or it's in your face, then we have to take another course. So I just want to, thank you as a council for supporting myself and staff and, doing the hard work. I know you're out there in a safe way getting, hey, why isn't this happening? It's here. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Madam City Manager, and yes, we all do get that sort of stuff. I've got feedback from both sides of the chair, or the aisle on the motel. Most of it was positive, but there's been a couple that was the best thing. But generally speaking, it's been positive, and I think that message is getting clear. So that's in the right direction. Again, we're not out here trying to shut down business. All right. There being no further business come before council and without objection, meeting is adjourned at 7:40 p.m.